Good evening to everyone. I am Mahasri, volunteer of Shivi Forensics. Today I am going to present a case study about the Butcher the Baker murders. Introduction. Robert Hansen, also known as the Butcher the Baker, he was a famous Alaskan serial killer. In the year 1983, the cruel murderous crimes came into light as a 17-year-old girl named Cindy Paulson escaped from him and reported the incident to the police. Hansen was a local bakery owner in Anchorage, Alaska, USA. From childhood to adolescent period, Hansen is a very shy guy who suffered from severe stutter and had disfiguring acne that left permanent scars, making him a frequent target for bullying and social rejection. His difficult relationship with his father and the ridicule from peers, especially girls, caused deep resentment within him. As a refuge, Hansen spends much time hunting and practicing archery skills that later factored into his criminal acts. In the year 1957, he enlisted in the US Army Reserve but was discharged after a year. Later, he worked as an assistant drill instructor at a police academy. His first documented criminal act was setting fire to a school garage in 1960 as a revenge for past grievance, which led to a prison sentence. Psychiatrically, Hansen was described as having managed depression with schizophrenic episodes and an infantile personality with intense desire and fear towards women. Modus operandi. Hansen is known as a respectable family man and a skilled hunter. No one knows that he led a double life where he was a human hunter in which he hunted down women for his personal desire. He used his hunting skills as to hunt on the perfect targets. Hansen's modus operandi involved meticulous stalking of his prey, that is women. Use of gun to force the prey into his vehicle, bringing them to his house where he abused, raped and tortured them. His unique mode is that he sometimes could transport the victims into a plane and send them to a remote Alaskan wilderness and hunt them with his skilled hunting skills. He uses firearms and knives to kill his prey. Victims. Hansen's victims were mostly sex workers and teenage women who worked late night. His first suspected victim was Selena Van Zanten, who was kidnapped and died after escaping into the wilderness. Even though Hansen denied it all, he had a secret room in which there was a setup for planning and detailing about his targets. He had a well-prepared plan before executing his plan. His final victim was Sidney Paulson, who managed to escape and report him to the police. From 1970 to 1980, he kidnapped and abused and tortured them. It seems like he killed and buried 17 women in different parts of the remote Alaskan island. Hansen confessed of killing 17 women and raping of 30 women. Some of the murders which he had done were done during his time in prison for setting fire to the school bus garage. Investigation. The investigation of Robert Hansen revealed many clues which led to his downfall of his crimes. The investigation included of several women had accused Hansen of raping them, but due to his public image as a respectable man and businessman, and mainly because of concrete evidence. Even when Sidney Paulson reported him to the police were skeptical, but a psychological profile and tips led to a search warrant. The authorities searched Hansen's house and found incriminating evidence, including weapons, personal belongings of victims, and most importantly, a detailed map of grave sites across Alaska where he buried his victims after killing them. There were nearly 20 spots in the map marked where he buried them. After further investigation, later the police found that many of the victims were sex workers, runaways, which is why no one ever complained about their disappearance. This was the reason why Hansen targeted such a runaways and sex workers as his targets. Psychological report. According to the psychological reports given by the psychological experts says that Hansen was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, dissociative illness, kleptomania, traits of psychopathy, traits of antisocial and narcissistic personality disorders. Even though all these symptoms and traits were recorded and noted, there was no official report submitted saying that he is not mentally stable and he is also not guilty of his crimes. Hansen became a psychopath because of his childhood trauma, lack of bonding with his parents, and bullying from his classmates, and pure hatred and desire for women. Hansen's case is an example of psychopathy with combination of mood disorders symptoms which led him to commit all these brutal killings behind the mask of a respectable family man face. The verdict. Robert Hansen was convicted in the year 1984 after a series of murders. He admitted in the court that he killed 17 women and assaulted approximately 30 women. He entered for plea bargain in which he pleaded for guilty for 4 homicides, and with the investigators he cooperated in providing the locations of the buried sites where he had buried the victims. Robert Hansen was sentenced to 461 years in prison without the possibilities of parole. At first, Hansen was imprisoned in federal penitentiary and later was transferred back to Alaska State Prisons, where he served till his death in 2014. Hansen died from natural causes in the Alaska State Prisons while serving his sentence. He served for about 30 years in the prison and died at the age of 75. Conclusion. The case study about Robert Hansen, probably known as the Butcher, the Baker. This was one of the most prominent cases in the US nation. This case reveals how a common man with a respected job and family who seemed to have an ordinary life just like the rest of us. But behind the mask of his kind smile, he hid his cruel nature in which he hunted down his prey with his skilled hunting skills. But the only thing is that his prey were not some wild animals but rather human, who had no one to ask for them if something ever happened to them. This case brought significant challenges to the law enforcement due to the careful concealment of his crimes. This case shows the importance of forensic science advancements and its importance in police investigation. The forensic experts played a crucial role in finding the evidence against Hansen, aviation records, maps, and forensic analysis. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Hope you find this case study useful.